All right. I should be here. We'll see. Let me know if I'm here. Traditional taking a big drink of water right before I start. Hopefully this thing's going to be working. Let me know when you get in, sign in, write a comment, and let me know how you're doing. Hey, Mike. Hey, Alan. Y'all get on in here. I'm going to talk about some stuff. Beautiful day, 72 degrees here in the CTX, Central Texas. Gorgeous weather, a little breezy today, so my allergies are a little bit tweaked. But other than that, things are doing real well. Beautiful Saturday. Been relaxing with Danielle, Robert, and his family. Earlier went to town to go get showers and whatnot, so we've been just kind of hanging out. What's going on, Clint? Hello, everybody. Come on in, say hi. I'm doing this through the laptop, so if you don't comment, I don't know you're here. When I'm on the tablet, for some reason it tells me, but here on the new interface, I don't know what this T-shirt means. The Neosho Way. This is a free workout shirt I got it wasn't free. It was like 50 cents or $1. We got a bunch of shirts at the Goodwill or something like that, thrift store. And so I got two. I got a black one that says this on it too. If somebody knows what that is, I bet it's some kind of high school or college thing. I don't know. I don't know what Neosho is. But I had to have a bunch of clothes that fit me because none of my clothes fit me. And so right before the whole coronavirus hit, Danielle took me to town, and I got a couple of pairs of pants that fit. And I'm not talking about don't fit. I'm talking about they're like wearing a barrel. I had pants that were, that much space. You couldn't tie them on. And so that's what we're going to be talking about a little bit today, fitness. But so I didn't have any shirts. I didn't have any pants. I didn't have anything to fit me. Hello, Nathan from Pennsylvania. And so we went to the Goodwills. We went to the thrift store. We went to the Good Samaritan store. Hello, Pat. And by the way, just type in hello or something in the comments, and I can say hello and know you're here. But anyway, so we spent like $50 over about a week and a half, and I got a bunch of workout shirts to work out in. I got some workout sweats. I think I got one or two Neosho Mizzou. Okay. Neosho Mizzou, maybe, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how it ended up in the Goodwills in Texas. But, and so I got like two pairs of shorts, and because I don't wear shorts like out in public, I wouldn't wear them, but I will wear them when I'm working out because it's going to get real hot this summer. I don't have air conditioning. And so, getting ready for that. So, that's why I don't know, I normally don't wear these clothes, but I'm usually down here at the office when I do these. And so this is where I work out. This is my home gym. So I want to talk a little bit about, I've been getting a lot of questions about the fitness program, and I think it's relevant to a lot of what's going on. It has become relevant. I started all this before the coronavirus became kind of a thing. And so I'll give you a little bit of a background. January, today is March 28th, 2020. And so Wednesday, today is Saturday, Wednesday. So 4 days will be 12 weeks. So I basically had started this on January 7th or 6th. I was at my parents' house. I knew I was overweight. I knew I wasn't feeling good. I knew I gained like 12 pounds since going to Hollywood in the beginning of September. And so my dad upstairs has a recumbent bike. So I just sat there and watched the TV show, and I did the recumbent bike at like 20 minutes, and I got worn out. And so I really started thinking about it, and then we drove home, and then when I got home, I had a bunch of work to do, And it turned out that day, my phone counts my steps. My average steps would be 6,000 to 7,000 steps. And that day I got 13,000 steps. So the first time I had an inkling that 20,000 was possible. I mean, to me, the hallmark was always 10,000 steps. So for no other reason other than I knew I really needed to challenge myself and I needed to be accountable, I got on Facebook and I said, I'm going to do 20,000 steps a day for 7 days, which meant I knew I was going to have to get up early. I knew I was going to have to, I mean, I had no idea what 20,000 steps would take. So, hello, Randall. I got to scroll down. So I had watched the video with Mark Wahlberg where he got up at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, prayed, did his workout and all that so he could spend time with his family and all that. And so to me, I knew that in order for me to do this properly, I was going to have to like commit myself to a whole different world. It was going to have to be, I couldn't just like fit it into what I was already doing. It was going to have to be like being in a new world. So the only way I know to do that is to get up early. So I decided the next morning I would get up at 3:30, get coffee, and walk down to the office, do my prayer time down in the office, and then start some form of workout. And so that was January 7th. So the way I look at it is I kind of started this mission on January 8th. A little background. My peak weight was 2016 or 2017. I think it was 2016, and I was about 278. And I would not have considered myself obese, although science does. So I was 278 pounds, and I could see 300. I could see it from where I was standing, and it would not have taken much. And so we started fasting. Intermittent fasting, no workouts, just intermittent fasting now and then. What they call intermittent fasting has changed even during the time that we've been doing it. And I'd done fasting back, did some in the 90s and some in the 80s. But what I always considered intermittent fasting just meant you weren't fasting all the time. So, but generally a fast to me was always like minimum 36 hours up to 72 hours. And so, it didn't mean what it means now, which is like not even a full day. And I'll get into that. And so we had done some intermittent fasting. I had gone from 278 down to about 250. And then when we decided in 2019 that we were going to go to Hollywood to meet with the producer of the film being made about my book, and the producer and the director, I wanted to get in better shape for that trip. And so I went down to 228. So I'd gone from I had lost 50 pounds from sometime in 2016 to September 2019. Not anything fitness oriented, nothing like that. Hello, Clyde. Y'all step in here, say hi in the comment section, tell me where you are. But so I'm just giving a little bit of background. And so I had lost about 50 pounds, just basically eating less, not snacking as much. I had gone off sugar a long time ago. I wouldn't say I was tremendously unhealthy, but I had some serious health issues. Those things may sound contradictory, but I did have health issues. In 2017, I did a 7-day fast, and that cured a bunch of my issues for 1 year, almost a whole calendar year. But then I got back into them. So I decided, as I was doing this workout thing that I was starting in January 8th, I was going to basically make it a mission. One of the other ancillary things was that I had been talking with the producer and the director about the movie. I let them know early on, like 2014, that I had written one of the characters in the book that's in the movie, Goa Eagles, as hello Frank, as myself. Basically, I put myself as a character in almost all of my books, and so I had basically made this character named Goa Eagles, who was a wild one living in New Pennsylvania, and so I told him, I said, if it's possible, I'd love to play that part, and they were like, no, studio's going to want a big actor. It's a big part and all this. And so I just kept at it, joking around online, making jokes, and went out to Hollywood. And I told him, I'm really interested in it. And the director, who is French Greek, told me I was too good looking for the role. And so we all knew that wasn't true. So I just kind of kept at him. And so then I got to read the script and talking to him some more. And there's no guarantees, and I'm almost certainly not going to get the Go Eagles role. No guarantees, but they would at least audition me for it. So that's something that's going to happen, that I would get an audition. And then there's another role that's a smaller role. If you've read the book, that I could play, that would be more likely that I would get that part in the movie. Both of the characters, Go Eagles and this other character, are big guys, which I'm big, and heavily muscled. While I was big, and there was muscle under there, I was not what you would call a big mountain of muscles. I think what the term was used. So I realized I had to do a lot of work. And as I studied it more, I'm not an expert on this. I did play sports in high school a little bit when I first started off in college. And so I have a background in working out, and I know how to do it and all that, but I'm not an expert. And so I started researching a lot, which is what I do for everything. I research everything. And so there's two sides of this I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fitness side, and I want to talk about the diet side, because the diet side's probably 75% of it. The fitness side's maybe 25% of it. And so I realized I liked getting up at 3:30 because it's a whole different universe at 3:30 in the morning. It's not the same world. The same people don't live in it. And even though I'm by myself, there's nothing that can grab my attention. There's nobody online. I'm not going to get online and start conversations with night owls or security guards or something. So I'm able to do my walking and live basically from 3:30 till 7 p.m. unless I make a Facebook post every once in a while, without any type of contact. It's a whole different world. And so I started off getting up in the morning, starting my walking, doing 20,000 steps a day minimum. And that was a challenge. At the end of that first week, I did the 20,000 steps a day. I accomplished it. It was hard, but I got it done. I would get out of breath, but I realized that I wanted to do more. And by the end of that week, I was getting the 20,000 steps done by noon, almost every day. And then I would go on about my business and workouts and all that kind of stuff. When I first started, I would get on the elliptical for about 3 minutes, and that's all I could do. I was just plumb wore out. And we have this elliptical my dad gave me that we don't plug it in, so it's off grid, but it still works. And so I would get on that thing, and then I was ashamed because I didn't know whether to feel good about 3 minutes or not. And so I was walking with my wife. Every day I walk up there at 7 o'clock. I get us another cup of coffee, and then I go on a walk with my wife, a full round. And so I was walking with my wife, and I said, I got on that elliptical, and I think at that time I'd gotten up to 5 minutes, and I would just couldn't go anymore. And I said, well, how long do you do the elliptical? I'm just not able to do it that long. And she said, oh, I usually put on a show, so like 45 minutes. And I was like, 45 minutes? You got to be kidding me. She's just sitting there doing 45 minutes on the elliptical, and I can't even do 5 minutes. America's convicts know more about fitness than anyone. That's right. And so she was doing 45 minutes. So I was like, I got to do 10 minutes. I have to do 10 minutes, And so I started pushing myself, and I got up to 10 minutes, and I got up to 15 minutes. Then I started doing 2 15-minute deals during the day, in addition to all my walking. And then while that was going on, the second week, my challenge was to do 100 push-ups a day. And so I did it that week. It was very difficult, but I've been doing push-ups since I was 9 years old, I realized I was really doing them wrong. And so I actually watched some videos on. I'll probably mention this several times, but there's two guys I really watch that I watch all their YouTubes and I follow them. They both focus on body weight exercise from beginner all the way to advanced. One of them is a guy, it's Bully Juice. Two words, Bully, Bully, and Juice, Juice, Bully Juice. Look him up on YouTube. I do. He does a 20-minute full body workout. I do that 3 times a week. And then the other guy is Chris Heria, Heria, and he does a lot of body weight exercises too. That's really what I focus on because that's all I have. I don't have weights. I don't have anything else to work out with. So, and other than my farm fit stuff, hauling water, hauling feed, and all that kind of stuff. So let me get back to my story. So the second week I was doing 100 push-ups a day, but I realized I was doing them wrong. So about midway towards the end of the week, I watched the video. I learned how to do push-ups in a way that's actually beneficial. And I realized I couldn't do that many. And so I was barely able to do maybe 12 or 15. And so I watched the Bully Juice video, and he had a push-up program that I've been doing, and that has really, really helped. And so I do over 100 push-ups a day now, sometimes 120, 150 push-ups a day, but I do them correctly, and I do about 10 different varieties of push-ups. So that was the second week, and then and I'll get into the diet part because it's more important. But I started adding more aerobic and cardio. So I was doing my walking, I was doing push-ups, some body weight exercises, and some aerobic and cardio stuff. And I just picked up on that, trying to do improvements. Push-ups are mandatory. That's right. Absolutely. And some people say you shouldn't do them every day. But right now, until I can get into a gym, I'm doing them every day. And I am trying to increase, and I'm increasing the pressure by doing feet up, push-ups, and all that kind of stuff. But I actually have days, I don't do them every day. I don't do them Saturday, and sometimes I don't do them on Friday. Other than that, I do them pretty constantly. All right, so my workout program has basically been focused on walking, which is a wonderful way to, and I look at it like just it's burning machine. It's like running a wood burner. You keep the machine burning. And so people don't realize it because they want to go run and they want to go do all this stuff. You can easily burn 1,000, 1,200 calories just walking and enjoying it. And what that does is that allows you to build up some stamina. My main goal at 53 years old is not to get injured. I want to do this whole 26. I'm doing 26 weeks, and I am 12 weeks into it come Wednesday. And I want to do it without. And I've already got injured the first week. Forgot to mention that. Slipped in the mud and busted my tailbone. Worked through that. I mean, I could not do sit-ups or anything for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I didn't actually stop feeling pain sitting on my tailbone for 6 to 8 weeks. Anyway, so I didn't want to get injured. I had planned on getting into the gym on March 1st, and then all this coronavirus stuff started happening, so that wasn't going to happen. They closed the gyms. And so I've been doing body weight exercises, trying to increase some of that stuff. One of the things that is a fact, though, is that when you are, I hate to use workout terminology because I'm not one of those people, but when you're on a cut, which is you're losing weight, you're intentionally burning or using more calories than you consume. So you're purposely losing weight and fat, which is what I'm doing. You are not going to generally get stronger. You can maintain body mass. Some people say you can, and I have increased size in a few areas of my body, primarily my chest a little bit, but my arms and my forearms. But it's very difficult to lose. I've lost 40, as of this morning, I have lost 47 pounds since January 8th, 84-ish pounds since my peak. And you can't really lose that much and not lose some size and lose some strength. You're just not going to get stronger when you're losing that much weight. Yes, I will on this video in YouTube, and I'll try to do it here on Facebook, but it'll definitely be on the YouTube version, which I'll post. I'll put recommended links for people to reference. One of the great things about Bully Juice, too, is that he has beginner videos. So even if you have never done a push-up or you don't think you could do more than one or two, he has methods of doing things that really can get you kick-started. And also a lot of articles and stuff I can link to. All right, so where was I? I was talking about it's very hard to get stronger while you're on a cut when you're losing that much weight. My goal is I started at over 28% body fat, probably way over 28%. 28% was when I started measuring, and I think as of this morning, I'm down to 13.4%. Hold on a second. 13% body fat. And so that's a pretty drastic, that's more than half of my body fat that I've lost. And my goal has been from the very beginning. I wrote down goals. I wrote those things down. Yeah, 13.8% body fat right now. My goal has been to get down to 10% body fat and then build up to do what they call a lean bulk, where you're bulking, you're actually getting stronger and getting bigger, to 15%, which would probably mean me going back up to 210 or so, or 215, and then cut back down to 10% again. And so that's kind of how you build without getting a lot of layered fat on top of it. So, and I'm not bodybuilding for my life. I'm not going to become a bodybuilder. This is for my health. This is for the movie, and this is just to experience it. I'm experiencing it, and people are emailing me saying they've been inspired. So I'm just doing it because it's what I'm doing. Sometimes you just take on a mission to do the mission. You decide to do it, and the benefits are I'm definitely healthier. I'm definitely stronger. I'm definitely have a better immune system. I'm definitely able to do more things. Had to go yesterday. I run a farm, and the pigs had ripped up a fence and got out. And so I had to go up there with Danielle and patch this fence. And there was a huge red ant mound. And so I couldn't stand right there while I was working. So I had to get on the other side of the fence. So I had to kind of leap the fence, which never would have done it. Never even would have tried it. I would have walked all the way down to the end where the gate was and walked all the way back up. But I was able to basically climb the fence and leap the fence. 278 pounds, no way I would have tried that. And so I'm feeling better. I'm stronger, mentally more clear. A lot of benefits health-wise, inspiring people, and there are some challenges that come along with that, which I'll talk about towards the end, if you guys remind me. But there's a possibility I might get a part in the movie. How does one measure body fat? To do it accurately, you really need to go get it measured. I have not done that, but you can. And right now with coronavirus, you probably can't. I bought a scale, and it was like the most recommended scale online. There are scales that are $200-300. This one was like $39. I'll get it here. Oh, I'll get it in a minute. And I'll show it to you, and then I'll link it in the YouTube video. This is like the most recommended by people that work out, by people that use them, and it's a 5-star rated scale. And you get an app, and that comes with it, or that you download, that's free, and it's Bluetooth, and it communicates with the scale. The scale has these metal impedance things that send a current, or I don't know, radar or microwaves, I don't know what they are, through your body, and then it tells you body fat. There's like 23 different things that it tells you. It doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. It just has to be the same. So according to a lot of the people, the reviews, thousands of reviews, it's pretty closely. So it tells you all of this stuff: body fat, BMI, your body mass index, fat-free body weight, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat, which is your organ fat, which is the kind of the dangerous fat, skeletal muscle, muscle mass, body water. And then every time you get on the scale, it tracks them. So you get, like, I'll pull up my tracking on this app, and I can put, this is just for the month. I've gone from 213 down to 194. And you can pull up data on particular days. So it tracks your weight, but it also tracks body fat. All right. And so there are calculators online that are free that calculate body fat. I have found them to be tremendously inaccurate because they don't ask enough information. They have no idea what your body size is. Most people use your wrist measurement to find out if you are a large person or a small person, because it doesn't really change. And so I am a big person. I'm just a big guy. And so a lot of times those empty calculators online, they're just wrong. They estimate your body fat way higher when you're bigger. They've gotten closer and closer as my waist size has more represented, my body size. I don't know how to put that, but so at the very beginning, it would show my body fat, ridiculously high amounts. And then when I got this scale, it was showing my body fat around 25%, which is probably closer to what it was. And then it's gone down since then. All right. So, I started, so there's a combination of two things. You can't just work out, because working out is 25% of the equation. Weight and eating, is 75% of the equation. And so there's basically two things that I'm going to simplify for you. And that is, you have cutting, which is losing body fat without losing mass, or without losing muscle mass, trying not to lose muscle mass. You're going to lose some. And then you have bulking, which is the second part, which is trying to put on muscle, or trying to get bigger, but not have it be fat. I completely understand that this is not really how we're supposed to live all the time. Some people do it because it's a hobby. I don't intend to live as a bodybuilder. I'm going to continue working out, and I'm going to continue eating right, but a 10% body fat is not practical. It's not even a good idea. It's not a survival thing. I want to get into all that at the end, because 10% body fat is horrible if you plan on going on a survival show. Provably horrible. No matter how muscular and strong and muscle bound you are, I would go into, if I was going to go on the show alone, which is on the History Channel, I would go on with 30% body fat. I would put on so much body fat, and I would win, because I already know the stuff. I already know how to do it. But you got to have that much body fat to last 80, 90 days out there without regular food. So that leads me to the fact that we got to talk about the eating part of it. Now, here's where I depart from everybody, because there are as many schools of dieting, bodybuilding. These are professional people, the people that do this, that this is their life. There are a million diets. There are people who have built huge YouTube channels on keto. One of them that I listen to and I love to listen to is Thomas DeLauer. There are people who have built huge YouTube channels on science of bodybuilding and body composition who don't do keto. They eat tons of carbs. A guy named Jeff Nippard is one of them. Yeah, the older you get, the more dangerous low body fat is. I agree totally. I want to get into those dangers and the things that I understand, that I don't plan on doing this for very long. But so there are, you can look at a person who's got a huge following that has a sculpted body, and they could have completely opposite philosophies on eating. Then you have people who are like the laissez-faire guys who are like, listen, I look at calories and I look at protein. Everything else I don't care about. And so you see people eating stuff I would never eat. I would never eat that. I have stopped eating that years, even when I was at my peak at 278 pounds. You would not catch me. I don't drink sodas. I don't drink Diet Coke. I don't eat garbage. I just don't. My biggest downfalls as far as me gaining weight was I love bourbon and scotch and beer, and I love to eat carbs a lot. And so that was my thing. You know, I didn't work out. I worked out on the farm, and so I went from 224 in 2005 to 278 in 2016. And so my whole point is that there's a million different ideas. One thing I have learned about my body, and I know is true about yours probably too, because I have done different challenges throughout the years, and I have done fasting, and I've done diets, and I've done workout programs. Pardon me. I'm a little bit dry because I just came off a 72-hour fast, and then the last 2 days I've been doing carnivore, which is just meat, and so you pee a lot, and you get very dehydrated, so you have to keep hydrating. Don't get off on the carnivore thing. I haven't got there yet. So one thing I've learned about the human body is the human body is very capable of figuring out what you're doing and avoiding it. So one of the problems people run into when they get into diets, and especially when they get into a strict trainer who says you have to do these things because they work for me, is you have a mind that wants to trick you into doing other things. And your body does not want you to do these things. So your body and your mind will work together. Port is an essential food group. Coffee certainly is. And so your mind and your body will work together to thwart you. And so these people do real well. You do real well at first. You drop a bunch of weight. Your exercise program is going well. And then whatever the opposite of a plateau is, they'll valley out, and they won't get any more gains or losses or whatever it is they're looking for. I knew that before I started. And so what I did is I decided early on that I was going to try something totally different. I've never read. I don't know if anybody does it. If they do it, I've not been able to find anybody that does it. But I was going to basically keep my body confused by changing my diet at least every week, sometimes twice a week. So I researched all the diets that I know that work. And a diet that works is, first of all, one that you'll stick with. Second of all, one of them that allows you to feel satiated while you're doing it, so that you don't constantly crave the things that you can't have. And it's something that could be healthy in other aspects. In other words, it's helping you, get rid of bad stuff, or I don't want to get into all the terminology. Autophagy, where you're getting rid of bad cells and building new cells and rebuilding your immune system. So there's a lot of these diets that work. Keto works. I don't care what anybody says about it. If you don't like it, it's too faddish. It works. A lot of these, the OMAD diet, 1 meal a day, works. Intermittent fasting works. Just you go down the list. A lot of these diets really, really work. And so what I would do is I would do a diet for 1 week, and then I would change it. So my first week I did a basic bodybuilder's diet for a cut. So I figured out what my maintenance calories are, and so I'm gonna shoot for 300 or 400 calories less. That's the only way you're gonna lose weight. You have to your calories has to be less than what you take in, what your maintenance calories are. And I could get into a video about how to calculate your maintenance calories. Rando, you do that too. Well, good. We need to come up with a name for it so we can market it. And so I knew my body, if I got on to doing this one diet, my body would eventually go, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something else. Your body, if you're on keto and you stay on keto and you all of a sudden you don't lose any more weight, it's because your body went, screw you. I'm going to turn some of this protein into glycogen or sugar or whatever, and I'm going to store it as fat. The science turns upside down because your body goes, I'm not going to do it. I know what you're doing and I'm not going to do it. And so my plan was to constantly have my body have no idea what's going on. And so I started off with a basic bodybuilder's cut workout the first week, and I lost like 5 pounds. The next week I did keto. So I basically cut out the carbs, and I try to do my protein at about 1 gram per pound of body weight, which is very difficult, but try to keep my net calories below my maintenance calories. And so that worked for a week, and I did pretty well. I think I lost 1 pound or 2, and then I switched to 16-8 intermittent fasting. So you 16-8, you fast for 16 hours, and you have an 8-hour window when you can eat. And then you fast, and you do that for a week. So 16 hours fasting, 8 hours when you can eat. And again, you try to keep your calories. It doesn't matter what you eat. You just keep your calories below your maintenance calories, which you have to figure out. All right. And so it does matter what you eat, but I mean, you can eat stuff. You can eat calories. You can eat cake. You can eat pizza. You just have to, your net calories have to be below what your maintenance calories are. So the next week I did a 23-1, which is 23 hours of fasting and 1 hour of eating. Now, all of these weeks, I still did 2 days, which I've done for years, of fasting, which is usually Wednesday and Saturday, which I fast the whole day. So, so I would do a week of 23-1, then I would do another week going back to the bodybuilder's diet. And then I did another week of keto, and then so I kept doing this for a while, and then I did the OMAD diet, which is 1 meal a day. So in that one, you just eat 1 meal a day. You have 1 hour to eat 1 meal, and you can eat whatever you want. You can eat donuts and biscuits or whatever you want to eat. I did that for a week, and my weight kept coming down because as long as you're eating less than your maintenance calories. And another benefit of this Bunker Randall confusion diet is that you also don't build up cravings, because every week you're allowed different things. You don't sit there and go, oh, I'm not allowed to eat this, so I'm going to go crazy, and so it allows you to be satiated. You're happy because you know you can eat what you want to eat. You just have to wait a week. And I would tell my wife and my daughter, I can eat that. I need to do it next week. So Jan says, I lost 60 pounds once with just portion calorie control, just so I could prove you don't have to exercise to lose weight. It's absolutely true that you do not have to exercise to lose weight. The problem is that if you're not exercising, all you're really doing is you're learning self-control, which is a great benefit, but you have muscle, with age, you get muscle degeneration, tissue and joint degeneration. Those things can be rebuilt with exercise and diet. So aging is increased. So I don't like to exercise either, but there are a lot of benefits. Portion control is good. Here's the negative of portion control. The proponents for portion control act like, and you'll hear them on, like, because usually they say, just, control your portions. You can eat whatever you want. That's not generally the way humans work. What happens is that the human mind's capable of rationalizing or justifying any behavior, as you will justify violating that portion control just like everybody else does. And eventually it just becomes a pattern, and eventually you're out of it. So people who are big proponents of portion control almost always stop at some point. It's not, to me, it's not maintainable. It's not sustainable. I'm just not going to go through life eating half of of a meal. I really like keto, and I like OMAD, and I like the 16-8, and I like the 23-1, and I like those because I can eat a lot of food, feel satiated all day long, not be hungry, but I don't feel like I'm sitting down to a meal which is just an appetizer. And so for me, that's something that I look for. But like Randall said, I love me some bread. I'm never going to stop eating bread. I love bread. I love cheese. I love a lot of things that I love pancakes. I love fried chicken. And if you rotate your diet, you have a week where you can eat that. Then you have a week where you don't. Maybe 2 weeks where you don't. And then you have another week where you can eat that. And so you're still. But in the meantime, if you look at, if I can find it here, my weight loss. This is strictly the weight. It's a downward thing. That's the overall. And so, you continue to lose weight, and I only want to lose. I'm not losing weight to hit a bottom and go, oh, I hit 190 pounds. I'm going to stay there forever. I'm not. I don't want to stay at 190 pounds. I'm probably going to end up somewhere around 210 to 220, and I'll probably try to stay there. That's a comfortable weight for me. I'm still a big guy. And so satiation, as Randall says, is huge. It's really the main thing is feeling satisfied. So this week I'm doing carnivore. I did a 72-hour fast, and I'm doing that stuff not just for, I'm doing it for a lot of other things. There's some processes your body goes into after 16 hours of a fast, up to 30, at 32 hours, and then at 72 hours, which rebuild your immune system, destroy damaged cells and mitochondria. And there's this whole thing called autophagy. You have to look it up. I'm not a scientist, but where your body starts to rebuild itself. Your organs actually at 36 to 72 hours will shrink by 30%. And it's not just shrinkage, but it's also the exposition or the getting rid of bad, damaged, and sick cells. And then when you come off of the fast, they rebuild, and they rebuild with new cells. And so I will never probably not do fasting. And so I just did a 72-hour fast. I came off of it yesterday at 8 p.m. and I'm doing carnivore probably for a week, but I may not, because my body is hearing me talk about this, and I try to lie to it. I go, oh yeah, we'll just do carnivore for a week. I may do it for 4 weeks, or I may get off of it tomorrow. My body doesn't know. And so it can't go, oh, you just said on the video, I heard you said you were going to do carnivore. Well, I'm going to take a bunch of that protein and turn it into fat. So I trick my body. Keep it tricked all the time. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but that's what I do. That was my plan, and it's worked. So where we are now, I'm at 194 pounds this morning, but don't write that down because it's not official. Official isn't until tomorrow morning, and it might be a little higher because I've eaten 18 ounces of steak and 20 eggs and 8 pieces of bacon since yesterday night. So my weight I have no idea. I have no idea what my weight will be tomorrow. Maybe it'll be 195. I think 195 to 197 I'll be happy with. It does that. Sometimes because I fast on Wednesday and Saturday, usually I end up I lose more weight at the end of the week, and then I sometimes will maybe a pound or so. Hello, Nancy. I'll go back up, and then by Wednesday I go back down, and it's a bigger drop every time. So it's kind of like a downward staircase. It's not always that way. We'll see what it comes out to. I try not to lose too much, and I'm thinking 190 to 185. I don't know when I'm going to hit. I'm not using the scale as a judgment. The scale really means nothing other than it's a way to track it. I'm using the body fat indicator. At some point, I had assumed that I was going to get into a gym, which may not happen. And I assumed I was going to go get some testing done, body fat testing and all that, which may not get done. I'm also adding things. I added jump rope, which to me is fabulous. I would have never have guessed that I would really not only enjoy, but I think it's a wonderful exercise tool is the jump rope. I had a jump rope about a week or so ago, week and a half ago, and I've been doing the jump rope several minutes a day, and I'm going to try to work up to where I'm doing 5 to 10 minutes a day on the jump rope, which I really, really like. And so I'm adding stuff constantly. I'm also shooting a little bit of video here and there. I did half of a day in the life video, and eventually, Lord willing, I have no idea. Maybe the movie gets made. Maybe I get a part in it. Maybe whatever. Maybe I'll do a documentary. I'm going to put a documentary of us. You can just see the beginning of it, starting to work out, walking at 3 o'clock in the morning in the mud and the muck and the rain and the snow and all of this, and then boom, coronavirus hits, which has been a shock to the system. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the negatives. And like I said, I know what the negatives are, and I've thought about them. There's moral negatives and there's health negatives. I'm 53 years old, was not in the best health, and there's been great benefits to my health for this, but also you're putting a lot of stress on your body, and you have to be careful. Try not to get injured. Try not to do anything that's going to be, at this age, things can put you down, man, especially with coronaviruses going around. So the negatives, as Randall mentioned, getting really low body weight is not particularly safe when you're my age. And then, many years ago, I put in I think I've talked about it on here before. The only survival show that I consider to be legitimate, really legitimate, that's been on television is Alone on the History Channel. And I think they have 5 or 6 seasons you can go watch. I think they're still making them. And basically the whole theory of Alone is they take 10 people and they put them into an area where they have no contact with each other, and they have to live out there. They get 10 items, 40 items. I don't know. It's some amount of items they can take with them. They get to choose what items they want. And then they're out there by themselves. They do all the filming themselves. And it's all real. There's no, a lot of those survival shows, there's a lot of stuff going on. Would not really happen. But on Alone, it's what really, now they film it and they show you what parts they want to see. I'm not saying that there's not drama added to it, but the survival part of it is legitimate. And so I actually sent in an application for season 5 or something like that. And there's one thing you can know for certain if you watch all the 6 seasons or whatever, is the main reasons that people go home. Number 1 is they're weak mentally. And I'll get into that in a minute. Number 2, low body weight. Low body weight is a horrible survival mechanism. An out of shape guy who is 50, 60 years old, who's got 30% body fat, but who knows survival techniques and is wise, is going to far outlast a survival expert who is 10%, 15% body fat, or a Navy SEAL or anybody else. Sorry to tell you, that's just the way it is. Body fat is, and they learned that over the seasons. You'll notice in the later seasons of guys going, no, I packed on 30, 40 pounds to do this. You got to do it. The longest anybody has lasted is 87 days. And that means that with 10 people per season, that, say they done 6 seasons, it may have been 7, but so 60 people, 1 person has gone 87 days. I'm going to talk about this same thing when I do my bug out bag, why people think they're just going to run off into the woods and they're going to survive for a long period of time. It's most likely not going to happen. So, and that's true too, as in the time that we're in with coronavirus and everything else that could go on, government reaction, people's reaction, the masked man overreacting. We could have some, and we've talked about it on these videos, we could have some type of systemic collapse. I would not be happy for that to happen with me at 10% body fat. Just wouldn't. And the second I got the inclination that we're going that direction, you won't hear me talking about my diet anymore. Not because I won't watch and control what I'm eating, but I am not going to be losing weight. I'll be doing the opposite. So that could be the canary in the well for you all. If you just hear me stop talking about losing weight and body fat and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like not even talking about it, then that probably means that I have decided that I need body fat more than I need to be in a movie. At some point, I'm going to start lean bulking for the movie, but I'll tell you about that. But yeah, being 10%, 12%, 13% body fat as a man going into this thing, you're just, if it goes south, you don't want to be there. All right, so I'm here to answer your questions. Everybody, just type in questions in the comment section if you have any questions. I've tried to cover what the positives and the negatives are. One of the other negatives is the moral negative of focusing on the flesh. The Apostle Paul said that exercise of the body profiteth little. It doesn't mean it doesn't profit, but I understand that. I accept it. There's a modesty problem where I don't particularly like showing off something about me that's not spiritual or intellectual. That part of me, that's not a part of me that I'm going to sit. I don't feel real comfortable. I'm not going to be taking off my shirt and taking pictures. So one of the things you do is you have the before picture without your shirt on and your belly hanging out, and you do the after picture with your shirt off. It's not going to happen. So I'm sorry to tell you guys that picture's not coming. I've been torn because I want to inspire people, and a lot of people have asked me for pictures, not for any weird prurient interest, but because they want to be inspired and they want to see what you could do with 12 weeks. I've been 12 weeks on Wednesday. I'll be doing this 12 weeks, and you can really completely change your entire composition in 12 weeks. I have another 14 weeks to go because I'm going to do a total of 26 weeks, Lord willing. So, by the way, type questions in if you have any questions. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put links in the bottom of any of the stuff that I've mentioned. I'm also asking you to subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell so that you get notifications, and share and comment. Those things are important because I'm not monetized. I don't have any way to, and my videos aren't going to be really highly pushed by YouTube. So you sharing them, you liking them, comments are important. Watching the videos. Yeah, the pickets for Mrs. Smoker. That's right. I will also on this video, I will link to a picture where I'm clothed so that you can at least be somewhat inspired by the body transformation without any horrible immodesty. All right. And so where was I? Oh, okay. So if you're on YouTube, I'm going to put links into the bottom, and I'm also saying, hello, Daniel. I'm also saying that I need you to subscribe. If you're watching this on Facebook, I'm going to put the link up. Don't share this Facebook video. Share the YouTube version once I get the YouTube version up. That helps me get more links, more watches, and all that kind of stuff. Some things I'm trying to do with my YouTube channel. I want to start moving a lot of my content to the YouTube channel. I want to build it up where I can monetize it because it would be nice to be making a few pennies from it. And I would like to get some sponsors. If there's a product I really believe in, I'm not, the products that I'm recommending right now, I'm not getting paid by them at all. I do use a Amazon affiliates code. So if you go buy something, I may get 30 or 50 cents or something. But anyways, I'll put some links down at the bottom to the videos that I watch, the people I follow on YouTube, and some of the products that I've mentioned. What percentage of your variable diet comes from your farm? It is very variable, and that makes it hard to answer. Okay, so last Saturday before last, we had a little cold snap, and Robert and I were going to butcher a 600-pound hog, and then it rained for 3 days and we couldn't do it. So we have to butcher a hog. If I had butchered that hog and now I'm on carnivore, I would be eating pork and eggs from our own chicken. So for me, it would be 100%. Right now, I'm eating probably 6 to 12 eggs a day that come from our chickens. Smallest viable unit in the wild for long-term survival is called a tribe. That's exactly true. That's exactly true. Individuals are not viable. So I would say probably at any given time between 20 and 80% of my diet comes from the farm. Right now, we've gone on 7-8 months of not growing anything. So we have some stuff in the root cellar, green beans and whatnot. I can eat those, and of course, eggs, and we have some meat. Hello from Arizona, Nathan. Every week is different. So I don't, here in a month, Lord willing, we'll have garden greens, squash. My diet will change, and we'll be eating a lot of our own meat. I'm going to probably butcher one of our cows as well. So maybe it'll be 100% for a while. Since I'm not eating a lot of carbs and we don't grow a lot of grains, we have grown grains in the past, huge wheat crops and all that. That's not really a big part of my diet right now. So I'm not eating flour, and we buy flour. If I'm going to bake bread, then we buy flour. So other than that, spices, salt and pepper. I do buy yogurt just because we're not milking a cow right now. I have a cow that's fresh that just had a calf. It's a Longhorn. Almost certainly nobody listening to the sound of my voice has ever milked a Longhorn, but I have. It is not it's not something you really want to do, but you can do it. And they do produce, they're mammals. They produce milk, and the milk tastes like milk, just like any. It's just a little bit less fat, and they are a little bit more difficult to milk. You don't get as much. It's more like a goat. You get about as much as you would with a goat. And so we milked our Longhorns for a while, but I can make cheese. I can make Sheila, I miss how you have lost so much. I get lots of walking. You have to go back and watch the beginning of the video. I got to end this in about 2 minutes, by the way. I can't go over an hour. We'll do another one at some point. Anyway, so if things go bad here pretty quick, if the coronavirus thing gets worse, we're gonna pull in this Vera, which is our Longhorn that just had a calf, and we're gonna start milking her. So we have fallbacks and fallbacks and fallbacks for all of our positions on food supply, and so that's great. Hey guys, I got to turn it in because I got to make this thing less than an hour. Appreciate it. We'll do it again soon. And sometimes we'll do fitness talks, and then we'll do some, preparedness, survival, whatever stuff. All right. Well, we always want to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Please share the YouTube video, like, subscribe, all that stuff. I appreciate you guys, and I'm going to talk to you soon.